Okay, so at this time, I'd like to call the Tewksbury Finance Committee public hearing for September 23rd, 2024 to order. I'd ask that we all please rise if possible to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so this public hearing is the meeting we have for anyone from the general public to ask questions that they might have regarding warrant articles for the special town meeting that will happen on October 1st. The Finance Committee has received the articles for the meeting on Thursday, September 12th. We reviewed them with the town manager at our last meeting on the 16th. The committee had questions on articles that were answered by the town manager, and additional information and the answers were given to the committee over this past week. So here's how the process will work. We'll address each article individually. Any residents that wish to rise and speak on the article, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and feel free to ask your questions. After resident questions are addressed, I will open it up to the committee for questions. After discussion is completed, the Finance Committee will vote on a recommendation as to how to proceed with the article. I will now look for a motion to waive the reading of the warrant articles.
So moved.
Second. Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Please note that Articles 15 and 16 are petitioner submitted articles. Our normal practice is to take those articles out of order and give the petitioners time to review their articles with the committee first. Can I have a motion to that effect? Or is there anybody here to speak to those articles? Seeing none. Okay. Mr. Montori, can we start with Article 1?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Article 1 raises and appropriates funds into the FY25 departmental budgets that were identified as needing funding at the October town meeting. Right now, we have additional funding to raise and appropriate into the FY25 budgets because of two things. First, net state aid is higher than was projected when we initially did the budget in May. That amount is $469,326. The increase is from state aid in general, which was higher than projected by $295,335. Our state and county assessments were lower than projected by $183,270. We did need to increase our appropriation for state aid offsets for public libraries in the amount of $9,279, and that brought us to the net increase in state aid of $469,326. In addition, the chief assessor has updated the new growth projection for FY25. The amount that was originally projected was $1,050,000. That has been updated to $2,200,000, an increase of $1,150,000, and that's mainly due to an increase that we saw in National Grid and utility valuation. The total amount of increase that can be used for FY25 budgets is $1,619,326. This article seeks to use $733,084, and the plan is to appropriate the remaining amount, which would be $798,240, into the stabilization fund for future use. Just briefly going through the items. The first item, town manager salaries, $141,689, is to fund longevity and retirement incentives that were not budgeted for the assistant town manager, and also to fund the new town manager's salary for the remainder of FY25. Town manager professional services, $30,000. This is for our OpenGov permitting and license software to build out the planning department's software for that license. Computer services, $3,600 is needed for the systems administrator who works in the computer services department. That for car allowance, that was not funded in FY25, so that needs to be added. $8,300 for assessors' salaries is to fund longevity and retirement incentives not budgeted properly in the FY25 budget. Town hall leases and contracts, $2,900 is needed for HVAC annual preventive maintenance that was not budgeted in the FY25 budget. $2,700 is needed in community development professional services for a stipend for the town planner to manage and oversee the community market. Police overtime, $50,000. Based on what we're seeing for a run rate in police overtime, there's going to be a deficit in that account. This $50,000 will help towards that deficit that's been caused due to long-term injury and vacancies in the department. Police leases and contracts, $17,000 to fund a police overtime tracking software that was in the budget prior to the FY25 budget being developed. We took it out thinking we can do something less costly, but the software we were looking at is just not going to work for the department, so we're going back to the old software, which has a cost of $17,000. Fire overtime, $50,000, similar to the police department. The run rate in the department is showing that there will be a significant deficit at the end of the fiscal year. The $50,000 will help towards that deficit. The deficit's been caused by long-term injury and vacancies not being filled. School salaries, funding is needed to fund the new collective bargaining agreement that was recently ratified and approved by the school committee and the Tewksbury Teachers Association. To fund that contract, $176,895 is needed. And then finally, school operating. Funds are needed for the HVAC service contract for the Center Elementary School in the amount of $210,000. We weren't sure what this HVAC service contract was going to cost when we were developing the budget. When we went out to bid, the low bid was $210,000. And that's it for Article 1.
Any questions from the public? Any questions from the committee? Okay. Recommendations from the committee.
A motion to adopt Article 1?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Not voting.
Not voting? We got one not
It's
voting.
overtime.
That's right. Okay, Article 2.
Article 2 seeks to transfer from certified free cash $536,362 for the following items. Before I go into the items, right now, we have not had free cash certified. We expected it today, but we do expect it this week. So any vote that the board is comfortable taking tonight should be contingent upon free cash being certified. We are projecting that free cash will be certified somewhere in the amount of $5.9 million to $6.9 million. We just don't know what the final breakdown will be. We think it's going to be closer to the $6.9 million figure. The reason for the increase in for the free cash is we had approximately $5.2 million more in additional revenue from local receipts than what was projected. That increase was due to a couple of areas. I gave the committee a breakdown and an analysis over the weekend. We had additional funds come in for interest earnings, approximately Over $1 million, $2 million more came in interest earnings than projected. And that was because we are always conservative in our estimate for interest earnings. This year, on FY24, the actual amount taken in was $2,529,584. We projected $323,567. The large amount that we received this year was due to higher interest rates on our cash and our investments. Also, we had $28 million from the borrowing, $26.5 million from the borrowing of the DPW facility that was on hand that allowed us to have more interest earnings. And I want to note how this fluctuates. We took in $2.5 million in revenue in FY24. In FY22, we had a negative $160,287. So we want to be very careful in how we project this revenue. But that was a bulk of the additional revenue that we took in for our free cash. The other was turning back of funds in the town budgets. The schools turned back approximately $61,000 in their departmental budgets this year. The town was somewhere around $1.4 million that was turned back. That helped, will add to our free cash. The free cash, again, we hope to have certified this week, and the funding will go towards the following. The first is short-term interest on the Center Elementary School project. We did a short-term borrowing for the remaining funds on the elementary school. Currently, it's about $3.4 million outstanding that we're waiting for MSBA reimbursement and final closeout of the project. We didn't want to long-term borrow the amount because we believe, actually we know it's going to be much less than the $3.4 million, so we didn't want to long-term borrow that amount. The short-term interest is $223,355, and it actually worked out. We had planned to do the borrowing long-term in October, but we decided to wait until January because of two things. One, MSBA hasn't closed out the funds yet on what they're going to reimburse us, but also we believe that interest rates were going to be cut sometime in the fall, and they actually were, so we'll get a better interest rate by waiting in January. School internship program, $60,000. Funds are for a student internship program that was funded through a grant, but the grant did not cover all of the programs, so the town needs to supplement the program with these funds. The next item, ambulance computers, $12,000. The $12,000 will fund two new, what they call RhinoTab portable MTD laptops for the fire department's frontline ambulances. Munis training and evaluation and module improvements. This is an article to be used for Munis PACE training. It's a software. Evaluation and implementation costs for time entry and employee self-serve modules that we want to implement, and the completion of a cash management module that the town accountant has been working on. Police station improvements, $12,837. There are two projects at the police department that we want to undertake. The first is to replace rubber tiles in the stairs to the first floor and second floors of the police station. They're worn and damaged, and the facilities director would like to have them replaced before someone gets injured. That amount is $7,959. And after an elevator inspection, we found out that 12 car guard rollers that the elevator runs on need to be replaced, $4,878. The next item, repairs to the Seagraves engine, funded as necessary for the 2010 Seagraves engines that the fire department utilizes. It's a frontline apparatus, and there needs to be work to the cross beams underneath the truck. They're starting to show signs of rot, rust and rot in some areas. They did get, this is a price from a vendor to fix the vehicle, and again, it's $10,000. Multi-purpose all-season machine, $70,000. This is a new machine that the DPW is looking for to replace a 2018 Chameleon. The new vehicle will replace that vehicle that's become costly to repair and requires expensive third-party software to operate it properly. The new machine, which I sent pictures of today, to give you a background on what it looks like, is going to be more versatile for the department and allow for maintenance operations for paving, drainage work, and sidewalk plowing. In addition, we're looking for $10,000 for a trailer for the DPW to replace a 2008 Towmaster trailer. The existing trailer does not have the capabilities needed to perform work for the DPW. The new trailer will accommodate loading multiple pieces of equipment on a single trailer, reducing the number of trips to and from work sites. The total cost of the trailer is $20,000. 10 will be paid by the general fund, 5 by the sewer, and 5 by the water. Then an asphalt paver trailer is another item the DPW is looking to purchase. This trailer will replace an existing 2000 Northern Bay trailer, which is beyond its useful life. The new trailer that we're looking to purchase is larger and can accommodate large road plates used by the DPW during operations. Currently, when we move these plates, we need to borrow a trailer from Wilmington. The cost of the trailer is $20,000, $10,000 in the general fund, $5,000 from sewer, and $5,000 from water. The senior center boiler needs to be replaced, and the $10,000 will fund that new boiler that was replaced at the senior center. Facilities and Grounds is looking for a new water trailer. It's a water trailer attachment that will aid the employees of the department. Currently, when they're working on the infills down at Livingston, the dust causes problems while they're working and doesn't allow for proper grooming of the infills for both softball and baseball. I sent a picture of in background of that item also. That's $7,551. And then finally, the Facilities and Grounds is looking for a lawnmower, $80,943. It's a Toro Groundmaster 4500. It's a large mower that will allow them to maintain the fields down at Livingston and any of the large common areas that we have in town. That's currently being maintained by smaller, older, non-reliable lawnmowers. The committee should have received the breakdown of this vehicle also. That's it.
Okay, any questions from the public? Seeing none, any questions from the committee?
I have a quick question to you, Mr. Chair. To Town Manager, what'd you say the free cash estimate was?
So we're looking at $6.9 million.
6.9.
Range, depending on what they deduct, it could 5.9 to 6.9, but we think it's going to be closer to 6.9.
Okay. And one other question, maybe for the school business manager, actually. That school internship program, what was the grant amount? Do you have the, you know what the grant amount was that we received for
So
that?
there were two sections.
You might have to come up here, sorry.
So the grant had two sections to it, and we applied for Section A and Section B. It was grant code 461 under DESE. And we got a letter in June indicating that funding had been approved for the grant, and assumed that that meant we got both sections approved. We weren't given a grant award letter this summer because the governor hadn't signed the budget, so they weren't able to get us grant award letters as normally we do before we run the grant programs. And these were designed to be summer programs. So typically when we get the award notice, we've never not got the money from the state in the past. So we went ahead and ran the summer program for the entire amount, $110,000. And then when the governor signed the budget in August, we went into GEMS which is the program that they use to distribute the money, and noticed that only the part D had been approved, and the Part A that we had applied for the $60,000 for the internship program, and they informed us that that was not approved for funding at that time. August 21st was a little late to pull back on the program for the summer, so that's why we kind of got in this situation. Very unusual. Typically, when we hear from the state that we're getting a grant, it comes through in the end. In this case, it didn't. I do have the email chain here, if anybody's interested in looking at it. They apologized. The grant management person from DESE had said that this new system of distributing the money was new to them as well, and they said perhaps it was an error on their part, but they were only approved for the $50,000. So that's why we're looking for some support. It would be the one-time funds where we only ran the program because we thought we had
Right.
we had a grant already.
Right.
There was students interested in early college credits for STEAM programming and learning educational support through UMass Lowell. So they were attending classes there during the summer, receiving guidance from professors at the school there. 15, 20 kids.
In the
nice
summer.
program. Yeah, it was a nice program, and but it was unfortunate that the funding didn't come through like we thought it was going to.
Okay.
So, yeah, when Mr. Montori asked about if there were any needs, this came to mind as a way to kind of help us out with the through one-time funds.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm sorry.
Go.
I know the facility and grounds lawnmower, Mr. Montori had sent us all of the information. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
A follow-up question to that. I know that you said it would mostly be used for supplemental cuts. And I just didn't know how have we been handling that prior to this equipment? Is it just we have older equipment that
The
we're
older,
looking at?
smaller lawnmowers.
Okay, thank you.
And part of the issue is using those lawnmowers, they're not reliable, they are older, they're smaller, it takes longer. And the crew for facilities spends a lot of time lining fields. And it just adds to the time things get, and a lot of the times we need to get the fields cut properly for the sports, youth sports, get them lined properly, so it's just gonna allow them more time to get things done.
Okay,
More efficient time with it, more efficient use of the time.
thanks.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, thanks.
Anybody else?
I have a question that arose when Mr. Libby talked. David, is that program also subsidized by summer fees that these children pay?
This one we didn't. Oh, sorry. No, this program we did not charge a fee for, where it was.
That's for the 20 children.
The grant-funded program, yeah.
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 And that's been going on for years, correct?
No, this was a new initiative.
Program?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, based on the grant.
I know we used to have a program for special needs in the summer.
Yeah, we did have those programs as well, but this was a different.
a different-
level of
Okay.
program. Yeah. We
Okay.
had, I forget the number of students, was it about 300 or so? Students attend our summer school
Summer
program.
program, yeah. And there's no fees for that?
No, we provide that as part of their educational plan to prevent regression during the summers.
Okay.
And it's all free for our students.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In fact, some of that was grant funded as well. We did
Correct.
get
I know the
some-
state budget, in the supplemental,
Yeah. we
they used to
did
put
some,
money aside for it.
Dr. Bastier was able to get us some significant grant funding to run those programs as well.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Libby, if this were to, if, we're not planning on this for next year, only if the grant becomes available?
Correct, yeah, or some other source of funding. We'd be looking at.
Okay, so this is only
trying to-
at one time.
Correct, for this particular program. There are lots of STEAM-related and early college grant opportunities that arise, so we'll certainly be looking for other ones to fill this gap, so we can keep the program going.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions on Article? No, we don't.
Two.
2?
I move to adopt Article 2.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna vote present, Mr. Chairman.
Can I just say adopted with the contingent on the free cash?
Yeah, sorry.
Contingent
Thank
on
you.
free cash being certified. So,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
Okay, so
I'm voting present, yeah.
Dave, Tom voted present. And we'll definitely have certification of free cash by next Monday.
We should have it this week, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be the same type of vote for the retained earnings we'll talk about.
Okay, Article 3.
Just passing around an amendment to Article 3. This is an article that we see at special town meeting in the fall and special town meeting in May when we receive invoices after July 1st for the previous fiscal year that need to be on the town meeting warrant for approval and for payment. Originally, we had $23,998.69 worth of invoices. 2 came in after the warrant was sent to the printer and posted. As you can see, they're at the bottom in bold, $805 for New England Alarms, and the other is $400 for LaSalle University, bringing the total of unpaid invoices to $25,203.69. Just quickly, the first one, the RICO invoice is for a lease of a copier in the Treasurer Collector's Office, $1,378.99. The next, which is Playaway, is an invoice for books, for a book in a USB port at the library in the amount of $56.99. The Sophos invoice is an invoice for our annual contract for IT, $14,486.79. Laidlaw, which is for the police department, was for an anti-virus software contract of $478. Nope, I gotta check what that is. The Metro invoice is for clothing for the police department and community policing. Aubuchon Capital One, $13.99 for different supplies for police maintenance items. Aubuchon Capital One, $7.99 is for building maintenance items for the police department. Hammond invoice is for hydrant paint for the DPW, $158. Alert Scientific invoice is for preventive maintenance and calibration of equipment for the water treatment plant, $2,817.50. Torrid invoice is for the installation of backflow preventers and maintenance at the East Street Pump Station, $3,627.50. NetLab invoice was for testing services for the water treatment plant, $398. The 2 that are added, $805 for annual fire alarm sprinkler inspections and compliance at the RACC, the Regional Communications Center, and then $400 for drone pilot certification for the police department at LaSalle University, $400.
Okay, any questions from the public? Hearing none, any questions from the board? So this will be amended at town meeting?
Town meeting,
Smiley?
yes.
Okay. Any motions?
Move to adopt Article 3 as the amendment I'm talking about, all right? That's what I'm always motioning on, the amendment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. So
Now I have the article.
now on the article.
I'll make the motion to adopt the article
Second. As amended.
as amended,
Second.
obviously.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, that passes unanimously. Okay, Article 4.
Article 4 is to raise and appropriate $166,237 to fund the collective bargaining agreement settled between the town and the Tewksbury, Massachusetts Police Patrolmen's Association. And this is a 3-year agreement. First year cost of the agreement is $166,237. The second year of the contract is projected to be $141,830, and the third year is projected to be $189,524, for a total 3-year cost of $497,591. The highlights of the agreement: 2.5% salary increase in each of the 3 years for a cost of living increase. There's also an increase of 1% for post-certification in year 1, a 1% increase in year 2, and a 2% increase in year 3. Juneteenth was added as a holiday, and a personal day was also added.
Okay, any questions from the public? Any questions from the board? I just have, just for my own edification, every police official has to be post-certified.
After you post-certify, they get recertified every 3 years.
And when does that start? When does the clock?
It's already started.
Say, okay. So there are penalties and stuff like that if they do not
If
pass?
they do not maintain their certification, they could lose their job.
Okay. All right, any motions?
Move to adopt Article 4.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Not voting.
Dave, not voting. So that's
601.
Okay, Article 5.
Article 5 is to raise and appropriate $221,014 to fund the collective bargaining agreement settled between the town and the International Association of Firefighters. The agreement is a 3-year contract. The first year cost of the agreement is $221,014. The projected second year cost is $169,358, and the projected third year is $187,006. The total 3-year cost of the contract is $577,378. The highlights of the contract are a 2.5% cost of living increase in each of the 3 years of the contract. In the first year of the contract, there will be an increase of 0.5% to the EMT stipend, 0.5% increase to the EMT stipend in the second year, and a 1% increase to the EMT stipend in the third year. Juneteenth was added as a holiday, and the personal day was also added.
Okay, any questions from the public? Any questions from the board?
So I had a kind of tangential question that I had asked at our meeting last week, and I didn't know if Mr. Montori had the opportunity to gather any of the data. So last week, we were told that the second ambulance that had just been added had run 400 days. And I always think, just the way my mind works, we hear about having to fund a second ambulance and everyone thinks of the cost. I think it would be nice to know kind of the revenue that was generated because of that addition.
Yes, so we projected that the ambulance based on the number of transports, I just want to go to my email, generated approximately $553,000.
So they just basically covered
addition.
the cost that you just noted for the next 3 years?
They
by
covered the cost of
addition?
probably their overtime and even this contract when you look at it that way.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Motion to adopt Article 5?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Article 6.
Article 6 is to transfer $160,000 from sewer enterprise fund retained earnings for the following one-time expenditures. We have not received certification yet on retained earnings from the Department of Revenue. We're projecting that sewer retained earnings will be approximately $6.1 million. That is cumulative from previous year's retained earnings. They get added each year to the end of the fiscal year. Again, any vote on this article should be contingent upon sewer retained earnings being certified. The items that we're looking to fund, the first is sewer pump station cleaning and maintenance, $100,000. The funding will be used to contract a deep cleaning of the larger sewer pump stations, and repair and replace parts as needed to keep the pump stations running efficiently. The larger pump stations we're targeting are the East Street Station, Andover Street Pump Station, and the Florence Ave Pump Station at Fraser Lane. But all see a significant amount of volume that goes through those stations, and cleaning them will ensure their reliability. The equipment trailer and the asphalt trailer, which are next, I mentioned when we talked about the free cash transfer. This is the sewer enterprise fund share of those trailers. The vacuum jet machine skid, this machine will be for $40,000. This machine will be used to clean out gate valve boxes and other small infrastructure components so the department can operate and maintain the gates and valves on a consistent basis. Mass DEP requires the department to develop and implement an annual distribution system, valve exercising program, and this equipment will help the department do that and maintain compliance. The machine is critical to the staff, so they're able to clean out the subsurface of these gate valves, these gate boxes, so they can perform the proper exercising of the valves during operations. The cost of the equipment is $80,000 and will be shared with the between water and sewer enterprise funds. And the last is a light tower that we're looking to purchase. Again, this is being shared with the sewer department. The cost is $20,000. Each enterprise fund will contribute $10,000. The funding will be used to replace a 2006 light tower. The light tower is used to illuminate work sites at nighttime, such as water breaks and sewer backups. The work helps the DPW staff to be safe during these operations and ensures that they can do their work quickly and restore service to the residents. Again, the total cost of the light tower is $20,000, which will be shared between water and sewer. That's it.
Okay, any questions from the public? Any questions from the board? Hearing none. Any motions from the board?
Move to adopt Article 6 contingent on certification of retained earnings.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'll vote no.
So that motion carries 6-1. Okay, Article 6.
Seven.
7.
Just
Seven, seeks to transfer $160,000 from water retained earnings to fund the following one-time expenditures. We are projecting water retained earnings to be $1.8 million. And again, we expect that certification to be this week. The $160,000 will be for the following items. We're looking to replace water meter endpoints and water meters in town. We're seeking $100,000 to undertake 400 water meters that we know have failed, and we can't wait for the major undertaking that will happen in January when we start to replace the endpoints and meters in town. These 400 meters have not been operational. We've been estimating bills to customers, which has caused problems. So the plan is to use this funding to purchase the endpoints and have town staff actually go to the homes and replace them. And we'd like to get that done over the next few months. The vacuum/jet machine on skid, $40,000. The equipment trailer, the asphalt paver trailer, and light tower we talked about in the previous articles.
Okay. Any questions from the public? Any questions from the board?
Just a quick comment for town manager. Your handout it says Article 6.
Yes. Article 6.
I think that's why.
Yep, that was corrected.
Repeat up.
That was corrected, and I found
Okay.
other corrections as I'm going.
Okay.
That's why I don't finalize it till after this hearing.
Yeah.
I just have a question, probably for Mr. Hardeman, on the water meter endpoints. Those are the things that go on top of the water meter that we can read, the town can read the meter from?
Yeah.
Okay, and then they can go on that Eye on Water program that you can figure out how much water you use. That's great.
We're not replacing the whole meter unless we have a reason to. This is just the endpoints.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, sorry. What was the expected certified retained earnings?
For water, it's
water.
expected to be about 1.8 million, or a little over.
Okay. If there are any others, I'll make a motion to adopt Article 7 contingent on certification of the retained earnings.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'll vote no.
Motion carries 6-1. Now we're on to Article 8.
Article 8, I would hold until the meeting prior to town
Yeah.
meeting. That way we'll have us free cash certified, and we'll be able to give you a proper
Okay.
amendment.
Do we need to make a motion to table it? All right, I'll move to
To
table
time certain.
Article 8 to, how do I word it? Time certain,
The,
pre-special town meeting?
Do we know when that's going to be, 6:30 on October 1st?
October 1st, yep.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Article 9.
Article 9 seeks to appropriate $3.8 million for the renovations and rehabilitation of the historic Ella Fleming's School at 1503 Andover Street. The funding of $3.8 million will come from, we'll have $1 million coming from the Community Preservation Undesignated Fund, and we plan to borrow $2.8 million to fund the remaining amount. The plan, I think I gave everyone a copy of the application that was submitted to the Community Preservation Committee. I have good detail on the history of the building and the floor plans that we're looking to follow when we bid the project. The plan is to renovate the interior of the building because the building envelope has already been done. The roof has been done. The building has 3 classrooms that will be renovated to their historic nature. 2 of the classrooms will be used for general community use. A 3rd classroom will be renovated and upgraded to be a, for lack of a better word, a museum or a exhibit to the one-room schoolhouse. Each room will be done that way. We are in need of community space in the town, whether it's youth group, private groups that need space, that utilize the town hall, the committees that need to utilize town hall, different groups that want to offer programs to utilize the space. We now have the YMCA in town that's working out of the recreation building. I'm sure would utilize more space if they could to offer programs. The funding is coming from the Community Preservation Act funding. The borrowing,
Thank you.
the $1 million is coming from the undesignated fund balance in the Community Preservation Fund. Currently, there's $3.6 million in that fund. All these funds will be added to the handout once free cash is certified. The $2.8 million, that borrowing will be paid over 10 years, and that funding will come from the Community Preservation Act funding that we receive each year, similar to the way we pay the town hall. So this is not going to take away from any general fund funding or budgets. It will not be an increase in any taxes. We already have the CPA funding on our taxes. So this project is both needed and the funding is available.
Okay, any questions from the public? Any questions from the board?
Just one last thing, the $3.8 million was based on a cost estimate we received from our engineering firm.
Well, have you had a question?
No. I just wanted to thank you for the handout that made it a lot more clear to me as to the layout of the building. I had no idea the size of it. I just saw the drive by and see the little red button. It's certainly a lot bigger than I thought it was. So having it come out of, what would the balance be in the undesignated reserve?
If we take out the $1 million, it will drop to $2,673,838.
Okay.
And that's as of beginning of September. And that's after using the $1 million.
That's after using the million?
Yep, currently there's $3,673,838.
Okay, thank you.
And quick question, this is similar to what we did with the town hall updates?
Yes.
Is that all done, being paid for, or is that
No, we still have,
still paying that off?
yeah, maybe 9 or 10 years. So the plan, when I asked the Unibank, who was our financial advisor, to run the debt service schedule for us, I wanted to match the town hall, so both will end at the same time. So the town hall is initially a 20-year borrowing, somewhere around $5.8 million, and this is going to be a 10-year borrowing. So,
Gotcha.
Okay, any other questions? Any motions?
A motion to adopt Article 9?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Vote no.
Motion carried 6-1. Okay, Article 10.
Article 10 seeks to rescind unused borrowing authority and go to the previous town meetings. The unissued debt for these following projects: the Ames Hill Water Storage Tank Maintenance, that was voted by town meeting in May of 2009 in the amount of $500,000. Has a balance of $25,000 that's not needed, so we'd like to rescind that amount. The Annex Roof Solar Project, approved at town meeting in October 1st of 2009, and the amount had an authorization of $85,000. No funds have been spent, nor will they be spent, so we're looking to rescind that borrowing. The Tewksbury Memorial High School project, March 1 of 2010, in the amount of $80,986,069. We issued $70,200, $19,487, the unissued amount of $10,766,582 we're seeking to rescind and get it off the books. The water treatment plant in May of 2015 in the amount of $13.1 million. We borrowed $13,557,433. We're looking to rescind $42,567. Roadway improvements, May 1st of 2010, $3 million. We're not going to be borrowing that fund, that amount of money. So we're looking to rescind the whole authorization of $3 million. New Center Fire Station, $2.5 million. Back in October 1st of 2019, we just asked for the authority in case we needed it, if there were any overruns in the project. There weren't, so this $2.5 million can be rescinded. Astor Street Water Tank, in May of 2022, $1.8 million. That authorization was not needed since we ended up paying for the project out of retained earnings, so we're looking to rescind that entire authorization. The total amount that we're rescinding in authorizations is $18,219,149, and get them off of our books.
Okay, any questions from the public? Seeing none, any questions from the board? Any motions?
I move to adopt Article 10.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Okay, Article 11.
Article 11 seeks to authorize the select board to accept an easement from Andover North Estates LLC for a sidewalk, a new sidewalk at 1563 Andover Street.
Okay, any questions from the public? Any questions from the board?
I move to adopt Article 11.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Unanimous vote. Article 12.
Article 12 is a home rule, seeks to authorize the select board to submit a home rule petition to the general court to make an amendment to the charter that would allow for the 10-mile radius that the town manager needs to live within as a requirement of the job. This was something that back in 2015 we brought forward to town meeting. Town meeting authorized the selectmen to submit the home rule petition. It was actually amended to change that, instead of eliminating the 10 miles, to change it to 50 miles. It was submitted to the state legislature. The delegation at the time had the bill drafted, and it died in committee. We don't know why. We asked if it could be brought back, and because we've gone through 2 legislative sessions, it cannot be brought back without a new vote of town meeting. So we're bringing it back, and again, we're seeking just to eliminate the mileage altogether.
Okay, any questions from the public? Any questions from the board? Any motions?
Move to adopt Article 12.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Okay, Article 13.
No, Steve Savage.
Good evening. So Article 13, I think you got a draft of the explanations of the warrant articles, and the explanation in there I think was pretty good as far as explaining that this bylaw that we would be adding to the town code basically comes out of legislation from Chapter 180 of the Acts of 2022, which was really trying to move municipalities into the social equity programs for marijuana dispensaries. And there were three options really that following the Cannabis Control Commission's guidelines and regulations that municipalities could take. One of them was adopting their model bylaw, which didn't come out until early May. And then another alternative would have been to draft a new bylaw that would have exclusively permitted social equity businesses for a period of 3 years, which didn't seem right for Tewksbury. We have 2 licenses that have already been issued. The model bylaw gives us some flexibility to develop an equity plan while we're still in the licensing process with others. So that's why this bylaw was being presented, because it basically took the Cannabis Control Commission's model bylaw and just dropped the name Tewksbury into the bylaw. So there's a lot of the town shall do this, the town shall create an equity plan, and it just seemed that that was probably the best way for us to conduct business, and that's why this article is being brought forward.
Okay. Any questions from the public? Any questions from the board?
I do have one. It's just more of a curiosity. What if we didn't do this? What if it got voted down?
You know, that's a fair question. I think we probably wouldn't be able to, well, let me state, we have 2 potential license applicants that are in process right now. If we were not in compliance or not moving towards compliance with Cannabis Control Commission, I think that they may withhold those licenses to whoever we issue it to. This way, we're at least demonstrating that we're making progress towards meeting their requirements, which is why I'm proposing this. That's the best answer I have.
No, thank you. The last time the state forced something on us at the last town meeting, I remember a resounding
Yeah.
no. So,
I know.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
You don't want to remember.
Impressed.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Any motions?
Your motion to adopt, what, Article 13?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Thank you, Steve. Article 14.
Okay. So Article 14 is a change to the zoning map for the Sutton Brook disposal area, plume area, and buffer zone for the groundwater protection district. And what happened here was EPA had provided us a map that showed this groundwater where they believe there's a plume that still needs to be monitored. There's monitoring wells that are out in the field right now that are being checked, and what they do see is that there is some movement that occurs. So we put in place the zoning at their request or their requirement, and we know that it's going to change over time, and the assumption is that over the long term it's going to contract to probably just right around where Sutton Brook the lobes are that exist out there. So over the next couple of years, 5, 10 years, we'll probably continue to see zoning changes. This is really a control mechanism so that we catch in zoning people that may do things on their property, that this would help prevent that, or at least give the town a little bit more oversight in any type of development that may occur there. This has been in place for, I think, 2 years now, and we haven't had any issues that have run up with residents. I think this is just more of a matter of compliance with the EPA.
Okay, thank you. Any members of the public have any questions? Any board members have any questions? Seeing none, any motions?
Move to adopt Article 14.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous vote. Okay, still don't see anybody here for Article 15 or Article 16.
They may be in the planning board still with their public hearing there.
May I suggest we defer to the planning board?
Or we could table
Able to.
to see what, how they vote.
Because that's really what I want to hear, how does the planning board?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would go with Mr. Kuzminski's suggestion.
Yes.
All right, I move to table Articles 15 and 16 to time certain our pre-special town meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Okay, so now could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. So, town manager, any finance reports or transfers?
There are none. Over the next couple of days, like I said, I should have the free cash certification. We're going to update the handout. A lot of financial information and edits in there that we need to make. And I'll send it back out to the committee, get it on the website well in advance of town meeting for the public. So hopefully we have that in the next couple of days.
Okay. Let's see. Representation on committees. We talked about representation on committees last week, and some of them have gone to sleep. Talked a little bit about the Economic Development Committee. Jason,
I got fired. It's fine. I wasn't here to defend myself. I can't. So that's fine. I sat on that committee for 3 years, but didn't meet once, but that's fine. It was COVID. What do you want me to do? It was COVID.
okay, so
I have no problem giving it up. It's,
So Joe Marie, I guess you are now our representative.
congratulations.
Thank you.
You and Mark
Should
should
we
work
make
well
that official with a
together.
vote?
Yes, I believe we should. And we would have to notify
I hope you heard that.
Alex.
I honestly
I don't know, Richard can pass it along to whoever needs to know.
Yeah.
What, you have another one? We just have econ. What's the other one? We have another committee?
And that's it.
The other three we haven't
The only
done.
one, right? That's the only one you
Green is gone
want
now.
to do?
one that's
I
alive.
just said, it was the only one that seemed active.
Last year.
So we need
You're gonna
like
have
a
a lot of fun
motion,
with that.
a motion?
Yes.
I hope it doesn't exist for too long.
Oh, it
So
will.
I move to appoint Joe Marie on
Second.
the Economic Development
Second.
Committee
Third.
as the finger.
Unanimous.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm starting to regret it a little bit.
Okay,
You're
now
gonna
we
bring back a lot of fun
have,
stories.
we have meeting minutes from September 16th.
So long ago.
Nay.
Any
Nay.
any motions?
I'd move
How about
to,
the table? I'm you.
I move to approve the meeting minutes
Table?
from 9:16.
Yeah, I moved it.
Yes.
Move the table?
I second the tabling.
Yeah, I haven't.
Okay, we can go over them
Pretty good.
next week's meeting,
Yeah, we've got a lot of things to do in that little,
little window.
yeah, we gotta be fast.
Yep. Okay,
Do we need to vote on that?
yes, we do.
I'll
So,
second
second
it,
table.
yeah. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we need Dave's favorite motion. Motion with adjourn.
So moved.
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're done.
We're adjourned.